The coffee cup slipped from Sarah's trembling hands, crashing against the diner floor as she stared at the woman sitting alone in booth 7. After working double shifts for 3 months straight at Murphy's Diner in downtown Los Angeles, she thought she'd seen every type of customer walk through those glass doors. But this wasn't just any customer. Ronda Rousey sat quietly, her hood pulled low, scrolling through her phone while picking at a simple turkey sandwich. Sarah's heart pounded as she grabbed a towel to clean up the spilled coffee, stealing glances at the former UFC champion who had unknowingly become her beacon of hope during the darkest period of her life. 6 months ago, Sarah's world had crumbled when her 8-year-old daughter Emma was diagnosed with a rare heart condition requiring immediate surgery. The medical bills had drained every penny from their savings, forcing Sarah to work 3 jobs just to keep their tiny apartment in East LA. During those sleepless nights, watching Ronda's old fights on her cracked phone screen gave her the strength to keep fighting for Emma's future. "Excuse me, miss." Ronda's voice cut through Sarah's racing thoughts. "Could I get the check, please?" Sarah's hands shook as she approached the booth, her worn sneakers squeaking against the checkered floor. She placed the bill on the table, trying to maintain her composure as she stood face to face with her hero. "Thank you," Ronda said softly, glancing up with those fierce eyes that had intimidated countless opponents in the octagon. Sarah managed a weak smile and turned to walk away, but something made her stop. The exhaustion, the desperation, the months of holding everything together finally overwhelmed her. She turned back toward the booth, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry, but I have to tell you something. You probably hear this all the time, but watching you fight taught me how to be strong when I didn't think I could be anymore." Ronda looked up from the bill, her expression softening as she noticed the tears forming in Sarah's eyes. "My daughter Emma, she's been sick, and the medical bills." Sarah's voice cracked. "I work here, at the gas station on Sunset, and clean offices at night. Some days I want to give up, but then I remember watching you never give up in that cage, and it keeps me going." The diner fell silent except for the distant hum of the coffee machine. Ronda studied Sarah's face, seeing the exhaustion etched in every line, the determination burning behind tired eyes. "What's your daughter's name again?" Ronda asked gently. "Emma. She's 8. She loves watching your old interviews on YouTube. She says you're the strongest person in the world." Ronda smiled, pulling out her phone. "What's her favorite color?" "Purple. Everything has to be purple." Without saying another word, Ronda began typing something on her phone. Sarah watched, confused, as the former champion's fingers moved quickly across the screen. "I'd like to meet Emma," Ronda said, looking up. "But first, I need you to look at that bill again." Sarah picked up the receipt, expecting to see the usual $12.50 for a sandwich and coffee. Instead, her eyes widened as she read the total, $25,000. The receipt slipped from her fingers, floating to the floor like a feather. Sarah's knees buckled, and she grabbed the edge of the table for support. "I don't understand," she whispered, her voice breaking. Ronda stood up, her presence commanding yet gentle. "Emma needs her surgery, right? And you need to stop working yourself to death." Tears streamed down Sarah's face as the reality hit her. This wasn't just a tip. This was Emma's future, their future, handed to her by someone who understood what it meant to fight against impossible odds. "I can't accept this," Sarah sobbed. "It's too much." "You can, and you will," Ronda said firmly. "Because that little girl needs her mum healthy and strong, not collapsing from exhaustion in a diner." The other customers had stopped eating, some pulling out their phones to record the moment, but Sarah didn't notice. All she could see was the woman who had just changed their lives forever. "How did you know?" Sarah asked through her tears. Ronda pointed to a small photo taped to Sarah's name tag. Emma in a hospital bed, giving a thumbs up to the camera, wearing a purple headband. "A fighter recognizes another fighter," Ronda said, "and you, Sarah, are the strongest person I've ever met." Lee, if this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because we're just getting started. Drop a comment below and tell us about a time when a stranger's kindness changed your life. Your story might be featured in our next video. And don't forget to smash that like button to help us reach more people with these incredible true stories. The next morning, Sarah stood outside Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, holding Emma's hand as they walked through the automatic doors. The purple backpack Emma insisted on bringing was stuffed with get-well cards from her classmates, but nothing could have prepared them for what waited in the lobby. Ronda Rousey sat in one of the plastic chairs, wearing a purple t-shirt and holding a gift bag that matched Emma's favorite color perfectly. "Mom, is that really her?" Emma whispered, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Yes, sweetheart, she wanted to meet you." Emma approached slowly, her small hand still clutched in Sarah's. Despite the tubes and wires that would soon be part of her pre-surgery routine, she walked with the confidence of someone who had learned courage from watching her mother fight every single day. "Hi, Emma," Ronda said, kneeling down to eye level. "Your mom told me you're the bravest kid she knows." She says I get it from watching you," Emma replied, her voice stronger than Sarah expected. Ronda laughed, a genuine sound that echoed through the sterile hospital corridor. "Well, I think you get it from watching her. Your mom is the real champion here." She handed Emma the purple gift bag, and inside was a signed photo, a purple UFC t-shirt in Emma's size, and something that made both Sarah and Emma gasp. A handwritten letter. "Dear Emma," Ronda read aloud, "being strong isn't about never being scared. It's about being scared and doing what you need to do anyway. You and your mom are the strongest team I've ever seen. After your surgery, when you're feeling better, I want you to come train with me. Champions train champions, and you're already a champion in my book." Emma hugged the letter to her chest, tears of joy mixing with the nervous excitement about her upcoming surgery. "Will you really train with me?" Emma asked. "Absolutely, but first you have to promise me something." "What?" "Promise me you'll be brave in there, and promise me you'll take care of your mom. She's been taking care of everyone else for so long, she forgot how to let people take care of her." Emma nodded solemnly, understanding the weight of the promise. Dr. Martinez, the cardiac surgeon, approached their small group. Sarah had met him twice before, during consultations they could barely afford, always discussing payment plans and insurance complications. "Mrs. Thompson," Dr. Martinez said, his usual serious expression replaced by something Sarah had never seen before, relief. "I have some good news. An anonymous donor has covered all of Emma's medical expenses, including the surgery, recovery, and follow-up care for the next 2 years. Sarah looked at Ronda, who was suddenly very interested in adjusting Emma's purple headband. The donor also requested that we use the newest surgical technique available, regardless of cost, Dr. Martinez continued. "Emma will have the best possible care." "I told you," Ronda whispered to Emma, "champions take care of champions." As they prepared for Emma's surgery, Sarah found herself in the family waiting room with Ronda, who had insisted on staying despite having no obligation to be there. "Why?" Sarah asked, the question that had been burning in her mind since yesterday. "Why us? Why Emma?" Ronda was quiet for a long moment, staring out the window at the Los Angeles skyline. "When I was Emma's age, my mom worked 3 jobs too," she finally said. "We lived in a tiny apartment, and some nights we ate cereal for dinner because that's all we could afford. I remember watching her count coins to buy my school lunch, and I promised myself that if I ever made it, I'd help other mums who were fighting the same fight." She turned to look at Sarah, her eyes reflecting years of understanding struggle. "But it's more than that. Yesterday, when you told me about Emma, I saw something in your eyes that reminded me why I started fighting in the first place. It wasn't for fame or money. It was because someone told me I couldn't, and I refused to accept that. Emma's doctors told us the surgery was risky, that we should prepare for different outcomes," Sarah said, her voice barely audible. "And what did you tell them?" "I told them they didn't know my daughter." Ronda smiled. "That's exactly what a champion says." 3 hours later, Dr. Martinez emerged from the operating room, still in his surgical scrubs, with the kind of smile that changes everything. "The surgery was a complete success," he announced. "Emma's heart is strong, and the repair was even better than we hoped. She's going to live a completely normal, active life." Sarah collapsed into Ronda's arms, sobbing with relief and gratitude. The waiting room, which had been filled with nervous energy, erupted in quiet celebration from other families who had been following Emma's story. "Can we see her?" Sarah asked. "She's in recovery now, but she's asking for her mom and her new friend Ronda." In the recovery room, Emma lay connected to monitors that beeped steadily, showing a strong, healthy heart rhythm. Her eyes fluttered open as Sarah and Ronda approached her bed. "Mom," Emma whispered, her voice hoarse from the breathing tube. "Did I do good?" "You did perfect, baby. You were so brave." Emma turned her head slightly to look at Ronda. "Are we still going to train together?" "Are you kidding? After what you just did, I should be asking you to train me." Emma giggled, a sound that filled the room with more hope than any medical equipment could provide. "Ronda," Emma said softly, "thank you for taking care of my mom. She always takes care of everyone else." Ronda squeezed Emma's small hand gently. "That's what champions do for each other." As visiting hours ended and Emma drifted off to sleep, Sarah walked Ronda to the hospital parking garage. The Los Angeles evening air was warm, carrying the sounds of a city that never stops moving. "I don't know how to thank you," Sarah said. "You gave us our life back." "You already thanked me," Ronda replied, "by showing me what real strength looks like. Emma's going to be fine, but more importantly, you're going to be fine too." She handed Sarah an envelope. "This is for you. Don't open it until you get home." "Ronda, you've already done too much. Just promise me you'll open it." Sarah nodded, clutching the envelope as they said their goodbyes. Back in their small apartment that night, with Emma sleeping peacefully in her own bed for the first time in months, Sarah opened the envelope. Inside was a check for $50,000 and another handwritten note. "Sarah, this isn't charity. This is an investment in a champion. Use this to go back to school, start that business you've been dreaming about, or just breathe for the first time in years. Emma needs her mum to be happy, not just surviving. The world needs more people like you, people who fight for what matters. Keep fighting, but now fight for your dreams too. Your friend always, Ronda." Sarah sat on her couch, surrounded by the silence of a home where medical bills no longer ruled their lives, where her daughter's future was secure and where dreams suddenly seemed possible again. She picked up her phone and typed a simple message. "Thank you for showing us that champions really do take care of champions." The response came immediately. "Thank you for reminding me why being strong matters. Give Emma a hug from her training partner." 6 months later, Sarah stood in the doorway of her new business, a small cafe called Champion's Corner, watching Emma help arrange purple flowers in vases on each table. The cafe served more than coffee. It served hope to single parents, offering job training programs and childcare assistance funded by the success of their story. Emma, now completely healthy and stronger than ever, wore her purple UFC t-shirt as she worked alongside her mom. On the wall hung a framed photo of the three of them at the hospital with a simple inscription, "Champions train champions." The bell above the door chimed, and Sarah looked up to see a familiar figure walking in. "I heard there was a new cafe in town run by some pretty tough ladies," Ronda said with a grin. Emma dropped her flowers and ran to hug her training partner, while Sarah wiped away tears of gratitude that still came easily when she thought about how dramatically their lives had changed. "Welcome to Champion's Corner," Emma announced proudly, "where every day is a good day to be strong." As Ronda ordered her coffee and settled into a booth, Sarah realized that sometimes the most incredible stories begin with the simplest acts of kindness. Sometimes a stranger's generosity doesn't just change your life, it teaches you how to change others' lives too. The cafe filled with the sounds of laughter, conversation and hope, the sounds of champions taking care of champions, one cup of coffee at a time. This incredible true story shows us that heroes walk among us every day, and sometimes they're sitting in booth 7 at your local diner. If this story inspired you, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell, because we bring you amazing true stories like this every week. Comment below and tell us about a time when someone's kindness changed your perspective on life. And don't forget to smash that like button to help us share these powerful stories with more people who need to hear them. Your support helps us continue bringing you content that proves humanity's capacity for incredible compassion. Subscribe now, because next week we have another story that will restore your faith in the power of human kindness.